All right. Well, hello. Good morning. I'm Township Clerk Uta O'Connor. This is Township Supervisor Jim Budney, Township Treasurer David Nadeau. Incoming is Deputy Clerk Brian Friel, and we are here for the public accuracy test, which we are filming for the first time. So bear with me. Unscripted live. Here we go. So this test is mandated by Michigan election law. The Bureau of Elections puts together a test procedure manual for tabulators and the voter assist terminals. We, from that, create a test chart for the election based on what is on the ballot for that election. And a test deck is created. Here is, I don't know, is that the camera there?
Yes,
okay, so this is the test deck of ballots that have been marked by our. Did you guys do this, or did we have okay? And so what this test deck does is try every potential option that it's possible for a voter to check off on a ballot, just to make sure then that the ballot tabulator reads it correctly. So essentially we know what the outcome is supposed to be, and we're going to be checking that against there. So I'm going to give Deputy Clerk Friel has set up the tabulator. I don't know, you won't be able to see this on camera probably, but then this is the test chart for the August 8th special election. And what we will do then is sign a certification that we have done this, and everything gets locked into this box for a set period of time and archived. I think it's 2 years after the election, or?
Hold on. For this election, it's actually only until it's certified by the county because it's a special election.
So let me just at this point hand over the microphone to Deputy Clerk Friel, and he'll walk us through the rest of the process.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm just waiting for the tabulator to get turned on here. Takes a while they'll ask me questions like, is the time correct? Is the date correct? So we're just got to go through some procedures here to get it fired up, and then we'll run it. It's only going to take a few minutes. We have 7 test ballots to run through it, so this will not take very long. Correct. Yeah, we do this every election. It's mandated. We have to do this by state law. Some elections obviously can be much bigger, where we may run about 90 test ballots through a machine. So we do that for all 9 machines we have, so it does take us a good amount of time to test all machines. And I'm just going to say here, date and time are correct.
And the public is always welcome.
Yeah, public's always welcome. Obviously, this time, since like most of our tests, no one comes, but so we'll put it on TV so now everyone can watch all year round if they'd like on YouTube. So we only a couple more left here, and it'll be up and running.
So you might add, these are questions that are asked of the chairperson opening the precinct.
Yeah, so in the morning when the chairperson opens the precinct, this is exactly how they would see it. It's going to ask them if the date and time is correct. They'll verify that we did put in the date and time correctly. Then at this point, it's now asking me to open the polls. I will open the polls. It'll ask me if I want to run a 0 tape, which of course I do, so I can make sure that this machine has no votes on it already. In the morning, that's one thing that our chair people will go through to make sure it is a 0 tape, that everything that's supposed to be on the ballot is on it. Yep.
I'll be your assistant. I'll be your
Perfect. So basically, they would take a ballot and they would compare it to the tape to make sure that everything that's on this ballot is on the tape and that everything is zeroed on the tape, which I can see it is. This just to make sure everybody understands that today, or this election is 4 millage renewals for the township, 1 for continuing off-island library services, 1 to maintain current police department operations, 1 to improve and maintain drain and stormwater management projects, and 1 to maintain current recreation department operations. So now we have our zero tape. It's going to add.
Let me just add, it would be my instinct at this point to remove the zero tape, but we don't do that. We leave the zero tape on for the rest of the test so that when we run the actual test tape, they are both connected, that there's no, I guess it's a paper trail, a chain that can't be broken.
Correct. And it will ask me if I want another tape, and I'm going to say no, I only need 1. And now we are ready to run our ballot. So the first ballot that comes up on our test chart is a ballot that is a complete overvote. So we're voting yes and no on everything on the ballot. All right. So what's going to happen is when I insert this, the machine will start beeping, telling me that there are overvotes. I can hit more, and it will tell me every category that has overvotes. And as I look at that, it tells me that there's 4 contests. All 4 contests have been overvoted, and then I have the choice to either cast the vote or return it to me. During an election, you would return it to yourself, make your corrections. You may obviously spoil a ballot and get a new ballot. Today, it's a test, so we want to just cast it and have it go through. All right, and our second ballot is a stray mark ballot. It just shows that if you make marks outside of any of the ovals, it will not count anything on the ballot. You do have to fill in an oval for it to count anything. Same thing, it's going to beep at me and tell me that there are no votes on this ballot. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cast it. Our third test ballot is a blank ballot. Nothing at all on the ballot. Once again, it will beep at me to tell me that there's nothing been voted on the ballot, and we will again cast that ballot. If you were at the polls and didn't check anything, you'd return it to yourself, go back to the voting booth, and make some votes. All right, fourth ballot here is a correctly voted ballot with all yeses for all the proposals. Dave Nadeau has a phone call. You see the tabulator cast that successfully. Our fifth test ballot will be a wrong precinct test ballot. This is key for maybe in the absentee board. If we were to deliver a wrong ballot to a wrong precinct in the absentee board, it would not be able to take that ballot. Also, precincts 1 and 2 at the Presbyterian Church, since they're in the same building, a voter could cross over into the wrong precinct and try to put their ballot into their machine. It will not take that. So this will spit right back at me. And it's telling me it's an invalid ballot detected. And our sixth test ballot will be another all yes ballot. Right. I mean, the invalid ballot, yeah, correct. This will not go into this tabular any which way. You cannot cast it. It will automatically come back to you every time you try to put that in. So now our seventh test ballot is an all no ballot for all 4 proposals. What this will do is when we run the tapes here at the end, we will come out with a predetermined 2 yeses and 1 no on all 4 proposals. If we don't, then we know we have a problem with our tabulator. And we are ready to shut down our election. Correct. The tabulators are not connected online. Nothing's been online since these tabulator cards have been given to us from the county. So once we get the cards, never again are they ever put online. So all testing we do, we test them, we clear them. We never have to then connect them to anything on the internet. So once we know they've been tested, we know that nothing can possibly change on them. All right, now I'm going to close the polls. It's going to print 4 tapes for me if I put the right code in. Ask me, am I certain I want to close the polls? I am. All right, now it's going to print 4 results tapes. I'm going to have our election commission verify that the results are correct with 2 yes and 1 no on each of those proposals.
You might also note that these tapes are then saved along with all the other materials.
Right here today, we will lock all our testing materials get locked up on election day. All these results tapes get attached to paperwork, which then could either come back to the local clerk, the county clerk, or the judge of probate, or yeah. All right, last tape finishing up here. 2 yeses, 1 no. All right. All right, do I want more copies? No, I do not.
And I know you're not going to be able to see this on the camera, but each of these tapes also has a number of lines at the bottom where, for instance, if we were poll inspectors, we would be required to sign these at the end of the day when we run the tapes. We would be signing anyone who was present for the opening of the polls will have to sign the 0 tape. Anyone who is present at the closing of the polls then signs the other tapes. And that just, again, verifies that everybody has looked at it, that our precincts always have members from both parties present, so that there is, again, another checks and balance that we haven't had any manipulation of the tapes or of the election results. And then these go to the county and to various people who are going to double check these results. And if necessary, and it's happened in the past, if there's a problem with the results from one or of the other precincts, even the counting boards, those chair people and inspectors may be called back to come and re-verify. So there's a lot of checks and balances in place, and this is really just the second step after you've created the test packet. Then now there's a whole series of things that we have to do to maintain chain of evidence and make sure that nothing has been manipulated. So I felt I just had to say that. So there you go.
Brian, tell the public what you just did while she was talking.
Right, so what I did was I just cleared out the ballots from the side of the tabulator. We don't want to leave those in there, obviously. They get locked up as test materials, and they'll be stored in our storage room until they're able to be released and destroyed. So now, at this point, we verified this tabulator is working correctly. Tapes are set. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zero it out, and then what we'll do is we will lock these cards into this tabulator, and it's ready for Election Day, and we'll record those seal numbers onto our test certificate. Yeah, actually, we should have you sign that tape. That's would make sense. Right here, actually. All right, while they're doing that, I'm just going to zero out this machine. Yep, and we've already pre-tested all the other tabulators and zeroed them out already, so they're all ready to go. If I could get the code right, we'll be all set. There we go. I try to type too fast and then I miss. It doesn't take one of them. All right, so now we are zeroed out. Ballots cast 0 on the machine. And we are all ready to seal up these cards in this tabulator and get her all ready for Election Day. Shut it down. So let's do seals. Give you guys these, or one of them. I don't know if you want to do it, or you and Jim, however. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to seal the cards in. Blue will go on the right side, white will go on the left side. All right, so what you're going to do is we want to just.
I'll hold this while you. So what we have there is just a metal locking mechanism, and we're using one of these ties. If these are broken at any, obviously if we come back to use this tabulator and we notice that the seals have been manipulated, then we know that we have to do the test over to verify that the machine hasn't been tampered with. So there. Okay, so the white seal, State of Michigan. Okay, it's all right. It's 1188644, and this again would be something that our precinct chair people do at the end of the night. And then the blue seal is State of Michigan. It's upside down, so it's 0026611. And of course, when we open the polls on Election Day, the chairperson and co-chair will make sure that those are the same seal numbers that are on the tabulator when they open up the polls. And again, we have other seals. And this process also happens once the cards are taken out and taken to the county. They get put into a special pouch, and they get sealed into the pouch. So basically, State of Michigan election law has been developed with tampering and hacking in mind almost from day one. On one of my very first clerk's trainings, let's just say over 20 years ago, before we had electronic tabulators, the Bureau of Elections would always teach us that early on in the days of Michigan election law in the 40s and 50s, when there had been instances, they brought together all the groups that had a stake, but also brought in and tested all the different ways that someone might be able to manipulate a ballot. And so one of the reasons we have the perfectly blackened oval, one of the reasons we check for markings on the ballot is because the state has recognized all the different means that people may have had to manipulate the ballots. And so on Election Day, when you're in your precinct or when you're filling out your absent voter ballot at home, you may wonder, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? And again, a lot of that is just to secure that when those ballots are received, that everything is in the proper order. So I'm going to hand this back over to Brian.
Okay, now what the election commission is doing here is they're signing off on the election certificate, and that the seal that I'm about to put on that this ballot container with everything in it is correct. So therefore, once we seal this up, if it ever gets broken, we would know, because the seal that if a new seal was put on there, it wouldn't match what the certificate says that we're going to lock in the machine or into the ballot box. So, no,
This was,
that's
that
gonna.
goes in here. Oh,
Yep.
And this
You
is
gotta
the
sign
fun
it.
part, right? We have a lot of, sometimes,
It's sometimes it's it can be a little tricky to lock up a tabulator or a ballot box.
this, we keep this.
You need to sign that.
Okay, but we keep this out?
That's going in. Yep.
That goes in. This gets closed.
Yep.
We put the latch on.
There it is.
This is a keyhole. Put that through.
Yep, we'll put our horseshoe on there. We'll put the ballot container certificate on there that they've all signed with the seal number on it. And then we will seal that up.
Let's see if the clerk knows how to do this. I think I did it backwards.
You did it backwards, but that's okay. You can just go the other way. And once sealed up, that will conclude our